flashing yellow portion of it, and then, but normally to allow, if it is clear to obviously go, and then there is a dedicated left turn arrow. It's similar to what we have at Wenzel right now. Obviously Wenzel, they did some changes there to allow different turning movements. We did work with them to try to get something to happen at that particular intersection. Certainly can give it a try.
Sure.
To see what can be done. So.
Given her comment, I was curious about that type of left turn light, because obviously a left turn light that's dedicated takes up
Part of
good
the
chunk of
cycle.
space.
Takes
on the cycle.
part of the cycle, yeah.
And if
Takes
you
part of the
can,
cycle.
you know, on a late night when somebody's running a mire and they're the only car that happens to hit that traffic light, well, you don't need a green turn light.
Flashing yellow works.
Taking up the cycle, yeah, the flashing yellow works. So I wondered about an optional green turn if there are cars still there. And Oakland and Howard is one place where I saw it, and I know it exists, but
I think
I
now
think
is
there are
the
other spots
time.
where I've seen it.
Now is the time to get it in front of them, that we have concerns about it,
Yeah,
before
no.
they consider
Yeah,
the improvements that they're looking at down the road, because it will take them that long to figure out what they want to do and how they want to do it. No disrespect, it's just that's how long it
that's
takes.
the way it is.
So, anyway.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Barry. Is there any other visitor? All right, I think this is great. We had 3 tonight, so that's pretty awesome. All right, moving on with the agenda, which is approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
So a motion
Second.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to unfinished business, we have a second reading for the gas ordinance. Mr. Andrew Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. As we presented at a previous City Commission meeting in July, this is the second reading now of the draft for the franchise, granting a franchise to Michigan Gas Utilities or extending their franchise in the city. This particular version will be included in the City Code of Ordinances formally under Chapter 62 Utilities. A new Article 5 related to Michigan Gas Utilities franchise. The language that's included mimics what was approved previously by the city for Michigan Gas Utilities. It was not formally included in the Code of Ordinances previously, and we're rectifying that with this change. So the major changes to the language included references to the previous corporate name, or changing the references to the corporate name of Michigan Gas Utilities Corporation versus Utilicorp United, how it had been previously referred to. Some language related to the effective date of the franchise, some language in the hold harmless section that does not require Michigan Gas Utilities to hold us harmless if the issue arises from our own negligence. Section related to repeal of prior authorizations, and then a change where they can place utilities from calling it other public places to authorized easements. So at the last meeting, we had mentioned there were a couple changes that we made that we wanted to run by Michigan Gas Utilities, make sure it met what they needed as far as a franchise agreement. They provided us commentary that our changes were acceptable, so we're moving forward to get this approved as a second reading, both second reading and approval.
Okay, any questions for Andrew?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission consider this the second reading of and approve creating Chapter 62 Utilities, Article 5, Michigan Gas Utilities franchise and the City Code of Ordinance pertaining to a franchise for Michigan Gas Utilities effective September 17, 2025 as presented.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to new business. Tonight we got the Doyle membership rates. Mr. Mike Liston. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Every year, we spend time looking at our rates, compare them to the rates of local competitors, as well as other communities close to us where some of the people that live in Sturgis may travel to: Coldwater, Three Rivers, Kendallville, just to kind of see what they're doing versus what we're doing, so that we're all kind of on the same page. And this year we knew it was going to be a little more challenging, just with the economy and inflation and everything, prices of everything going up. So we started in April this year, spent a little bit more time, dug into it pretty deep this year to really see what was happening. Talked with some of our members to find out why they weren't renewing or why they were downgrading memberships. And what we found is that a lot of people were they were scared to lock into a 12-month contract. 3 and 6 months were our only other options, and what we were seeing is a lot of other of our competitors were all offering 1-month contracts. Just that way people they could buy it, they could pay, they could stay along, for as long as they felt comfortable, based on their incomes and spendable revenue. So what we are proposing is we would like to do a little bit of a realignment of our memberships. We want to be able to offer a 1-month option. It would be a reoccurring, it would automatically renew every month until they come to us and say, okay, for whatever reason, I'd like to cancel it at this time. We'll still offer our 12-month contract because we do have a pretty solid following of members that enjoy that. And those, one slight change to that is they kind of, talking with them, they would like those to renew automatically as well. It's one of those things, it's just, you kind of see it with your cable, things like that, where it just automatically renews and you don't even think about it. So that's another change that we'd like to make. But the big one was to just eliminate the 3 and 6 month options and then start a 1-month option to give people that opportunity. We would still offer our 3-month specials. Those seem to be the big hit right now. We do a discounted rate on those, but that gives somebody still an opportunity to come in, try us out. So we will offer those occasionally throughout the year. The other thing that we're seeing is our biggest local competitor is a 24-hour facility. As you may know, we also have that option at the Doyle. And so with our 12-month contract, kind of maybe a reward for somebody that wants to lock into the full 12 months, we want to go ahead and extend that option, include that option with the 12-month contract. And then obviously our full service, that's already included, but we want to keep that the same as well. The 1-month option, we would allow them to upgrade that. They could sign on for the 24-hour access. There would be a $10 fee added to their monthly payment, and that would just continue on automatically every month as their membership goes on. So those were the major realignment changes that we wanted to make. And then along those same lines, we hadn't done a rate increase since the 2023-24 fiscal year. So we talked a lot about that. Good conversations back and forth as to yes and why and no and why. And what we came to, and then the Doyle board did approve to recommend to the commission, was we wanted to just do a standard 5% across the board this year. And then obviously we would reevaluate next year and going forward. But for this year, we just wanted to take these couple of steps, see how things go, and realign things, make it a little bit more available to our members, and then a slight increase in the rates. So be glad to answer any questions if anybody has them.
Any questions for Mike? Nope.
That increase starts in '26, or?
It would start at October 1st of this year, which is
October,
the next
okay.
fiscal year, yes.
What's the wish of the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the Doyle Community Center membership restructure and membership rate increase as presented.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mayor.
Alex opposed. Is that an opposed
Really
there?
hard not to say, sorry. It just came out. Sorry about that.
Next on the agenda is the North Clay Street right-of-way. Mr. Barry Cox.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
City Commissioners. For those that haven't had this exciting opportunity, what you have here before you tonight is City Commission dedicates property as public right-of-way. So we have a project going along on North Clay Street, and there's a resolution before you this evening where we have a developer developing 4 duplexes along North Clay Street, and we have a substandard right-of-way through this section. A couple years ago, I came to you regarding the corner of McKee and North Clay Street, where the city purchased a small sliver of property and dedicated that as public right-of-way. That was part of hopefully a longer-term goal in this area to try to secure a full 66-foot right-of-way from Lafayette down to McKee. So this 17 feet will make this portion of North Clay Street a full 66 foot in width. This is also, the 17 feet is where the sanitary sewer that's being constructed by the developer will be placed, and being within the public right-of-way, they don't have to provide an easement for that. So this was the approach that they decided upon. Deed's already been committed to the city, so it's before you this evening to decide how you want to approach this. One minor caveat about this particular aspect of adding additional right-of-way width is it doesn't affect what we receive for Act 51 monies. That's based on length of streets, not widths of streets.
Oh, okay.
So the additional right-of-way, that's all going to be on the west side?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Barry?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the resolution as presented to accept conveyance and dedication of the property shown on Exhibit A as part of the North Clay Street right-of-way and used for public right-of-way purposes.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
So
you.
moved. Thank you, Barry. Next on the agenda is the opioid settlement agreement. Back to Mr. Andrew Cook.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. So recently, a national settlement was reached with Purdue Pharmaceutical and the Sackler family related to opioids. We've approved and considered a number of these agreements in the past. Similar to those past agreements, state of Michigan has chosen to participate, and we now have the option to participate as a political subdivision of the state. The more political subdivisions that come, the more money that comes through the state through the agreement and is passed down. So initially, those funds are allocated to the state. The state then further distributes the money to those that participate. There's an agreement that's kind of in place that kind of characterize that. As I noted in the manager's report, Michigan is estimated to receive $154 million plus $155 million roughly. About half of this goes to local governments to be spread out. The other half is retained by the state for their use to do opioid mitigation programs. We receive approximately 0.36% of the amount that's dedicated to local governments. We don't have the exact dollars, but it works out to be about $25,000 over 16 years that would be coming to the city. Again, roughly in line with what we've seen from some of the other agreements. So in order to participate, we have to complete a participation and release form that opts us into the settlement. That was included in your packet. Again, fairly standard language. There also, as I mentioned, the Michigan State Subdivision Agreement, that they're doing a new one of those. It kind of restates, combines, and amends all the prior agreements. So all the other agreements which we agreed to, this kind of affects that as well. It provides a little bit greater certainty. The changes provide a little bit greater certainty about what qualifies as opioid remediation, establishes an annual reporting requirement for the state, and some participating local governments. So we will probably have a little bit of forms that we need to fill out. That's a change from previous settlements. It allows participating local governments to request guidance from the Michigan Department of the Attorney General. So that's particularly if we're questioning whether something qualifies as an eligible expense and use of the money, we can request that from the Attorney General. And then it According to the information we received, increases coordination and transparency by allowing both state and local governments to request additional information on expenditures and allocations. So, again, with this opioid money in the budget, we budget for it separately. There are certain purposes that we can use it for. To date, we've mostly used it for community information, so information in schools and some programs to try and raise awareness about opioids. We're continuing to look at ways in which we can qualify and use this money for different things. I know Ryan has some ideas on that we've already begun to explore. We may have some more information on that for you in the near future, but basically, if we want to opt in, would need approval to do so for the Purdue settlement. I'll forewarn you, earlier this week, after I had already put this together, I had gotten notification that the next settlement agreement is ready for us to consider. So probably next meeting, I may have something on consent agenda. It'll be very similar to this with similar information, asking again for approval to participate in the next opioid settlement agreement. So just so you're aware of that probably will be coming, but for now, we're talking about the Purdue settlement.
Any questions for Andrew?
I just happened to notice St. Joseph and Cass County has less population than we do, and I didn't read the pages and pages and pages of the agreement, but
I have no idea how they calculate which counties get which percentage or how
Okay.
they identify that. The table was what was set, through review at the state of Michigan in terms of who gets what and how it's spread out. So I don't know if that's tied to. It could be tied to impact of opioids over the state, and maybe Cass has more impact than St. Joe. I could not tell you how those percentages were reached.
interesting. Okay.
Are you hinting that they're getting more than us?
Yeah, they're lower population, but they get a higher percentage by a fair amount than St.
Really?
Joseph County. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know. I just looked at those two and I thought, why is that? But okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for
Yeah.
Andrew?
Got down here estimated $25,000 paid out over a period of 16 years.
Yeah.
That's about $1,784, not quite a year.
Correct.
Is it worth the paperwork?
To date, it's been worth the paperwork because the paperwork hasn't been that bad. I'll say what I read about the reporting requirements that they're adding. I don't think the paperwork's going to be much worse. So,
That's it, thank you.
yep.
Any other questions for Andrew?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve participation in the Purdue Direct Settlement Agreement as presented and authorize City Manager Andrew Cook to sign all necessary documents.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Commissioner staff comments, and we'll start with Ms. Holly Kaiser.
Just happy to be here.
Counting down. All right. Mr. Rhodes?
We're going to have an election in November. 911 millage will expire this year, so in order to get it on next year, they have to have it between now and next December, and they chose to do it this November. So
You're going to be glad to be there.
I will be very happy to be there. Yeah, so
What date is that in November?
first Tuesday after the first Monday, which is, let's see,
November 3rd. Looks like.
4th. November 4th, if I'm in the right year.
I'm in 26. Why am I in 26?
Yeah.
November 4th.
They possibly could have done it then, they chose to do it this year, so, yeah. That'll all be the only thing that's on the thing, and I think they're even reducing the amount to 0.9 mils, so, from 1, so, there you go, yeah.
If the residents of Sturgis wanted to do so and got a petition around for the recycle program, to pay the $6 a month to do it, when would they have to have their paperwork in to get it on the November ballot?
August 12th,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
yeah, so. There would be
Great
an
question.
opportunity possibly next May to do something, so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, That's it.
That's it. Director Banazza?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Barry?
Nope.
Mike? Anything from the press? Yes, ma'am?
One more question. When are they gonna work on Market Street? Have you driven down Market Street? It is total crap.
Excellent question.
Commissioner Harrington has mentioned
Yeah.
Market Street a time or two. Quite a or three.
Package
Then you
for
have
the
two.
paving went out to bid today.
Oh, nice.
That does not mean it will get done this year.
Why I don't.
Hopefully, how's that?
If it's not completed this year, it would be next, in 2026, spring of 2026.
We're gonna try to get them to do as much as we can, but we don't know whether or not. I've heard that there is capacity within the paving companies to do paving yet this fall. That doesn't necessarily mean everything is going to get done or that they're gonna want to necessarily do the project. So there's concrete associated with it as well, and that might be a little more challenging to
Okay.
obtain.
I'm kind of like my neighbor Pam. The more conversation that happens, the more that ignites curiosity in my head.
I'm gonna just walk up here.
Come on up, Barry. Please. Related to Market Street.
Okay.
I've always wondered this, and now I get to finally ask. As far as curb and gutter, when, is there a rhyme and reason to when that gets added? Does it not exist on purpose, some streets, or is it just we haven't gotten there yet for that project?
Another fine question. So we are doing the block that is not curbed, but we are not intending to curb it.
Okay.
So we have limited resources, and we are trying to stretch those as you all know, in regards to the street funding. So we are trying to improve what we have without necessarily incurring the additional costs of curb and gutter. Now, that could be changed if, a long time ago, City Commission actually approved assessments, special assessments to install curb and gutter in roads, and that could be an exploratory direction that you may want to head or not want to head. But that is, there's really not a reason to necessarily curb that particular block of Market, I guess is the reason I'm looking at. So we are going to heavily improve it. And we will be basically gutting the bottom of it and starting over. So it's basically a reconstructed, non-curved street,
Oh, wow.
if that makes any sense.
If resources were much more abundant,
There would be
It's-
a lot of things I would do a lot differently than I do right now.
maybe that's a dumb question, but is
Fewer
it,
Band-Aids,
from an engineering
more-
perspective, is it a
more
desire,
gas.
is it a higher desire for things like stormwater to curb and gutter? Or does it depend, still on the street?
You
Because
have
Market
to
Street, I
have
know.
some place for stormwater to go. And curb and gutter directs it to some place to go. We do have drainage in that area, so we could direct it someplace. If you don't have curb and gutter, and you don't have a positive direction to direct the flow, you need to have gutters, or ditches. You have to have some place for it to go. Otherwise, it's really kind of pointless to do an improvement to the road. That particular road section on Market is crowned in the mid-block, so we can direct water in both directions, and both of the other corners have drainage structures.
Thank you, I was curious.
Okay?
I'm just happy you can remember all that stuff.
You should have heard him earlier today when he rattled off right away like a crazy person. He's extremely knowledgeable.
Yes, Pam?
Well, back to recycle is really big. It's caught my attention just today. So if we don't do recycle, where does all the recycle go? In the trash. Do you know how much our trash bills are going to go up? How much more that's going to affect the residents in the city? And then how much more of that recycle that is now supposed to go in the trash is going to be up even more so than what I'm seeing. That's a second thought to really think about. I'm an advocate for recycling. And unfortunately, I see, again, in my walks, what I see is some things that are not even the correct things to put into recycling. foods. And that's important. It's important. Besides, okay, it's important. It's important for all of you, who live in our community, for this beautiful town. At least I feel for part of the something. Thank you.
No bother at all. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate that.
Also, the price of trash pickup is over $300 a year now. What's it gonna be when the recycling goes in with the trash? It won't be bad, it's gonna be yeah. Lots of people, you can tell lots of people don't have money to pay the trash, and it's just outside their house and stuff. Yep.
Thank you. Anything from the media? No. City Attorney?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Andrew?
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. First, continuing the recycling theme, I left at your desks an email I received from Bill Letterman regarding recycling. Just wanted to forward that to you. He had asked me to provide that to the commission, so I am doing that. Once again, in support of finding a way to continue recycling. I did follow up with Mr. Letterman and sent him an email identifying some of the factors surrounding the recycling and the reasons why why things had been addressed to date as they were, but wanted to share that information with you. Second thing that I had left at your desk, and I'll call Mike Liston back up to the podium just real quick. Glen Oaks Community College. This was a program Mike set up with them. They're undergoing some repairs at their facility, particularly to the gymnasium, as I understand it. And they needed a place to do volleyball practices and some of their home games. I believe there also may be a chance that some of the basketball practices are going to be needed. Mike had set up an agreement with them to use the Doyle for that, basically a rental agreement. We didn't have anything specifically on paper. It was mostly just, hey, here's the price, come in and rent. Glen Oaks had contacted him fairly recently and said, hey, can we get an actual facility use agreement? I think you brought it to me maybe late or early this week or.
Yeah, the athletic director that I had been dealing with retired in the middle of all of this, and with him being absent now and them trying to get a new one on board, they just wanted to make sure they had everything spelled out and in writing so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah, so they quickly put together this agreement. We looked it over, had city attorney look it over. It's all pretty standard language, but wanted to make sure you had the opportunity to approve that and allow us to sign it. It lays out the schedule for when those things will be happening. Basically, they're using court time. It'll be on just kind of on an as-needed basis, although I think they kind of worked out roughly how many times they expect to be there. It's $15 per court per hour per hour. So they gave us a copy of insurance. Just wanted to get commission approval to sign that. So.
See, yeah, do we have consensus, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Next, wanted to just acknowledge I had sent an email out very late this afternoon to you. It was the final parks inspection report, as well as what we have today to kind of on the upkeep of stuff. That upkeep is in progress, so they're constantly updating that as they're doing some things. I think there's some things that have already been completed at Langrick that maybe hadn't hit the report yet, but I wanted to get that out to you. Wanted to note particularly that plan to do a work session on parks and the parks maintenance reports next commission meeting, first meeting in September. So we'll be looking to do that, and so that'll be a 5 o'clock start for that meeting, and we'll talk about that. We have some items and some things we want to discuss and kind of feedback from the commission on a couple of things there. So. Beyond that, city website, the changes did go live August 19th, so that's up and updated. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at it and seen some positive changes there. I think we're still going to be in the process of going through content and reviewing some of those things, but it's a lot better than what we've had. So we're excited about that, and I think. Our next step is to kind of roll some information out to the community about some of the features, some of the new things that come along with the new site. So that'll that'll be our next phase of information. Barry mentioned it in his right-of-way dedication, but as I was talking with the mayor, I had neglected to talk about the duplex construction on North Bay Street. I think that's an exciting little project that's going in there, adding some housing. A very familiar contractor and his family is the one putting that in, so it's an exciting project, and we're glad to see that. And then my last note is just that, just a reminder, we do have closed session to go and discuss union negotiations. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Commissioner Abs? Do you have anything?
I was going to ask a question, but Andrew already answered it.
Okay. Commissioner Boyle?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Wiki?
Yeah, I got a couple things from one of my constituents, and then I got a couple on my own. So this past week, Phyllis and Daniel Brothers, 907 Chella Street, called. They actually want to end the recycling program. And then after that conversation, she had a question involving a porta-john that her neighbor has used all of last summer that's been in his yard, and then all of this summer. And so I'm just wondering, is there any kind of city ordinance that would keep that sort of thing from happening?
I can think of a couple depending on where the porta-john's located and how big it is. I would say that if they have, number one, you can give me the address after the meeting.
Sure.
And I can just forward it to code enforcement, and
Okay.
you can take a look at it from there. But always.
I do have pictures I went by just to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, always feel free to share with citizenry if they have those types of complaints or concerns. They can go direct with code enforcement or community development, and even if community development isn't the right person to look at it, they'll make sure it gets put out to who needs to take a look at and review that. So, but happy to take that and forward it on to them.
Okay, thank you. All right, another question for Ken. So we've heard the cutoff date as far as if citizens wanted to do something about the recycling. Is it still the same cutoff date if the commission wanted to put that to a vote for the public?
It's a couple days later, but it's too late for November. That doesn't mean that you can't do anything. I mean, we have to look at, it's more complicated than just putting something on the ballot, because we, obviously, any charges that citizens have, how are we funding it and what's legal? And, you know, for millages, they have certain things. For special assessments, they have certain things. So if the commission, I guess we need to get direction if the commission really wants to have that go forward to the, you know, to citizens, how you might want to do it. Because to date, unless I'm wrong, we haven't gotten direction to go and pursue trying to find a way to continue recycling. So,
Sure.
because again, there are probably alternatives on how to fund that. So in terms of a ballot initiative, we're past any November deadlines, but that, again, it doesn't mean that it has to necessarily end. But we need to get direction on whether or not we need to pursue that.
Okay. And then my last one, it's actually an idea for Mike Liston for the Doyle. Maybe for the future, maybe consider like a gold premium membership that would include a back rub from the mayor. I don't know how many people would take you up on that, but another way for more income. Okay, that's up.
Well, I can delegate, so.
I have a question to Ken. So November we're past.
Mhm.
You mentioned May.
Again,
Is there some-
there are other elections. So the state of Michigan
Time.
right now only has 3 election dates. So there's May, August, November. We're going to have an election in August and November of next year. But again, whether or not we would put some, first of all, we'd have to figure out exactly what we're putting on the ballot, and it's not as simple as, are you willing to pay for recycling? We've got to go and determine those issues and how we can fund it. But to date, the commission has not given staff direction to pursue, investigate what possible funding mechanisms we can use.
Do we have consensus to tell them to go ahead and look for it?
Well, the way I see it though is we're past the date to put it on November, so it would have to be May at the earliest. The question I have is, are there other things gonna be on a ballot in May, or would it be a special election only for this that we have to pay for?
Well, there is not a specific May election, so there is August. So that's the next one that you could simply put it on.
Without us having.
That's
Yeah, it would be a
guaranteed.
special
Foot the bill
election.
for it.
That's
Right.
guaranteed.
911 will be paying for this November election.
So as we stand right now, recycling will end
December.
January 1?
December, yes.
Yeah.
December
December
31st,
31st.
yes. That's correct.
So as it stands right now, no matter if there's a voter initiative or anything, recycling will end until the next election if we go that process, which is more than likely April. There's no way to get a voter initiative before the cutoff in December.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would say to that, we only had one bidder. I don't think there are other options. We can speak to Borden about what options are. I mean, I think anything long-term, we'd have to, but is there a short-term solution? I don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't done that level of investigation
So
yet.
I guess what I need to understand, we had the meeting, a few meetings ago, we talked about kind of the bids and direction for current budget, how you want to handle it. We've now had a couple of meetings with feedback from the citizenry, people in person, people via email, et cetera. Is there a desire to look again at what the next options are for recycling? And I'll say, I mean, it's not that we haven't thought about it, but, I think if there's a desire by the commission to explore those options in more detail, happy to put something on a future meeting to do that.
Are we only talking about options to pay for it out of the money that we have in our current budget and not gaining more from citizens? Is that what we're talking about right now?
I mean, what I would be talking about is the whole plethora of options that we might have to continue the recycling program, whether that's doing something that would charge citizens more directly, how we would fund a gap, what that might look like, or what we could do to pursue that. I mean, bear in mind, I don't know if Borden would do a 4-month contract with us to extend recycling. They might. I don't know if it'd be $6 a month. We would have to explore that option. That would be something that we would have to fund without any additional revenue coming in at this point. To get us to a future election, if that's the direction the commission wished to do.
Yeah,
I think there may be options that
Are
don't
outside of an
require,
election.
that don't require an election.
Right.
Well, that's what my next question was gonna be. We don't have any options where we can charge our citizens more without going through the ballot.
I
for them to
think
approve it,
there
correct?
may be one,
Over
but it would
$2.
be a fairly, I would say a fairly,
Long
not a
shot.
drastic one, but it would be something that would be a pretty fundamental change and something that we haven't done in the community. I would say that has its own implications that I would want to make sure that we had full time to discuss in a
Right,
city
because what we're
commission.
seeing, we're seeing, we had 6 or 8 people here last week that spoke on it in favor. We've had 7 or 8 contact us, or maybe a
More.
dozen contact us directly as commissioners. We're talking 25 people that have, and I wouldn't feel comfortable making an initiative, any kind of change to saying, hey, we're gonna charge
Yeah.
everybody this amount because we've heard from 25 people.
Yeah, and I think any of the options that we would be bringing to you are options that are kind of an all or nothing for the community. So there is no good option to say, we'll have a contract with Borden, it'll be an extra $6, and only those who want recycling can pay the price, and everybody else can say it. So I want to say that first, because that would change Borden's price completely. As a matter of fact, that option through Borden exists currently in the community.
Yeah,
It's
there is
just
an
you're
option
paying-
right now to
You can,
continue.
you can, you can contact Borden,
self-pay.
you can contact Borden directly, unless they change something, on January 1st and have recycling service. It'll be about $12 based on the research I
Oh,
saw
it
on
was
the
12.
internet.
Yeah, it's
you know.
$12 a month.
Unless
You wanna
you're,
keep
unless you're a Borden trash customer, then I think it's
It's
8. It was
so
8.
said 8.
Yeah, and that was from what I saw online. I think Linda called them and she might have had slightly different numbers, but what I saw online was 8 and 12. So those options are gonna exist no matter what.
No matter what, yeah.
But for the entire community to do something, the avenue that I think is most viable that I've seen, and again, I want to be careful because I'm not prepared to discuss all the details of it, but basically it would be much like you would do with a single trash hauler. You would put into city ordinance that we are going to provide as the city a recycling service in the ordinance, and then we would be required to then go out for bid and do that and put the bill, and then we would charge the citizenry that cost. But that's kind of a long-term, you're locking yourself into, this is a city service or a city utility like electric or anything else that we do.
So we
So,
could have a single hauler, is that what you're saying?
No.
No, he didn't say
Yeah,
that.
well,
Is that what you're saying?
legally,
So recycling.
what I'm going to
No, I
say
just
very
heard
clearly
that.
for everybody in the
have
press
a
and
single
the audience is, you are legally allowed to have a single trash hauler if you want. This community has chosen not to pursue that for many years over the course of many discussions. But I leave that to the commission
And
to
for many years to
decide.
come. I'll be on the record.
I leave that to the commission to address. So, but you could choose to do something similar with recycling. And I'd want to investigate that a little bit more. That would be one of the options that I would most likely be bringing to you in a future discussion with a little bit more detail about what I've been able to find out about that. But that's the one. And that, again, that doesn't require a vote of the people, but you may want to have that go to a vote of the people because it is a pretty big change in how we do things. Now, if it goes to a vote of the people, you also have less flexibility in changing that ordinance going forward. So once it's a vote of the people, you either have to design something into the vote that talks about the threshold at which the commission can change that ordinance moving forward, or you have a much higher standard to meet in terms of how a commission can change that ordinance if they so choose in the future. So there are some implications both to just doing it as the commission and also to putting it to a vote of the people if you choose to go that route. And that's true of any change that we make to the code of ordinances through a vote.
And this is new information, right? I didn't just plain forget something, because my understanding was the last time we had this discussion, there were no options per se.
No, there was the option to keep it if
To
you
keep-
want it,
right,
yeah, that's
yes.
the option.
What I-
Right.
If you want
Not
it,
an
you keep
option.
it.
As far
and
as,
you
as
pay
far
for
as
it.
under the existing state law that we do, that we just put the extra money on the bill, there was no option to add additional
Right.
money to that without some
Right.
type of vote or other change.
Right.
So
That's
this would be a slightly different avenue to explore, yes.
Or otherwise, it does come out of the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to explore other options, or explore all the options, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
To actually look into it.
Yeah. And again, most of them would be, millage changes, other things like that would be the other thing to explore. And again, I don't know how many tools there are in that toolbox, how it hits on our total maximum millage that we're allowed to levy. There's implications there as well. But we can certainly bring that back to a future meeting for another discussion.
In any case, as, assuming we could use this bid or it would come back similar, it would still be an increase to the citizens of Sturgis as a whole.
Right, right.
So that is just something to consider, that the entire city, the entire populace would be paying additional fees. So,
Sounds like it's just best just to, if you want it, just call Borden and they'll set you up. If you want to continue, I plan to do that, so.
I'm for investigating what the possible option is.
Yep.
Um,
That's only
I
two.
think I have direction on that.
Oh, no, I gave my thumbs up earlier. My wife will club me if I
I'm sorry.
don't throw my hat in.
Do
and
we
give
want
consensus.
this brought back to a
So-
future meeting? I
Yes.
just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so
who
the
said
city
yes?
commission has consensus to have city staff investigate options.
Yes.
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 That's what the commission wants?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else, Commissioner? Vicky?
No.
No? Commissioner Mullins?
Apologies for being late tonight, number one. They just didn't go as planned, so, but I made it.
Glad you
Just
made it.
Just in the nick of time. I have nothing else besides just let's all be kind to one another, again, as my bi-weekly reminder. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller?
Well, it's just really good and timely that the discussion came up anyway, because I was going to come and pose the open question of, we've heard a lot of public comment, do we want to change our previous consensus? And that's already been answered. A resident from around the corner from me who talked to me a few weeks ago, you know, her final question, and this speaks to how sometimes the process that we see and hear is not readily apparent to 11,000 people out there. And that's why a discussion like this helps. What are our options? Hey, can we plan a work session for next time to discuss how could the puzzle pieces be put together? Anyway, the lady, when she gave feedback on wanting the recycling program, she said, "When's the next recycling meeting?" And I said, "Well, it's not up on the agenda." And so I kind of wanted to ask the open question, when would it be put open? My friend Bill asked how can I submit comment? Well, it's pretty easy, Bill. If you can't be there, you can email Andrew, and he was happy to do that, so here it is. I'd love to investigate those options. I guess I didn't know about the ordinance option. That's news to me.
And I
hear.
wanna be careful and explore that, because I know we can do it for trash. I want to make sure we can do it for recycling.
Sure.
But
Trash,
that's
do the both of them.
Commissioner Harrington is not here, but one of the gentlemen sitting here, it wasn't apparent to me at the time, but one of the gentlemen was Gary Nisley, owner of Nisley local trash, the most local trash service here in town, and his point to emphasize was yours, Pam, the fact that trash amount and therefore the size of your toter and therefore your cost for said toter is going to change drastically. And that was a point I think I made a few weeks ago. Our recycle bin is crazy filled versus our trash, which is not non-existent, but close. We're like a couple of small bags every week with a family of 6, but most of our stuff is going in recycling. So Gary's point to me and Commissioner Harrington after the meeting outside on the sidewalk, which wasn't public meeting anymore, but he made the point that everybody's trash bill is about to go up, not only with cost increases that are normal, but with size increases that you're going to need to see. So I've kind of, previous meeting when we had our consensus, I kind of gave my 2 cents. I guess to the public that are here tonight, most of the commissioners had spoken up at that time and said they wanted it. So I'm looking forward to the more information session. Thank you, Andrew, for the already good information you've had tonight. Hope something can get put together for him. And that's it.
I do want to be on record to say that I don't feel comfortable like making a vote for recycling just on my own, forcing and people to pay more when we're already hiking electric and water and everything else on them. So I just want everyone to know that I will not do that to my constituents, especially one that just called. I would rather the people vote and they make that decision as to whether or not they want that optional thing, despite the cost.
We could put ordinances even on the ballot, correct, Andrew?
correct.
And we could put such an ordinance.
As I said, you can. That would be where, though, you would have some restrictions on being able to change it as a commission in the future, based on,
And Commissioner Wiki, the only point I'd make on that is that when recycling started, the commission did decide, it was only $2 as opposed to $6.
Sure.
But it was strictly a committee, there was a recycling committee and there was feedback, but it was strictly, it did not go to a vote. It was a commission decision.
Initiative.
Again, it was
Yeah.
at $2.
Yeah,
As
this-
opposed to 6 a
Yeah,
month, so
well,
24
6
as opposed to 72.
6 plus, because then the city takes on that $150,000 too right now.
No, if we were able to pass along the costs, then it would simply, then there wouldn't be anything
Wouldn't be any
additional to
150
the general fund budget, if you're able to pass along the costs. But as Borden put in their contract, it's $6 and a 3% increase, I think it had. So it would be 6
Three-year
this year
contract, yeah.
and 620 and 650 and,
Yeah, it keeps going up.
yeah.
Andrew, if I remember from the chicken ordinance, for us to amend an ordinance that was ballot passed, we need a 6 out of 9, 2/3 majority.
that's correct.
So just one more commissioner than their normal 5 majority would be
I believe
needed,
it's
right?
2/3, that's correct.
Okay. And the whole point of that is to respect to put a tighter lock or higher threshold on amending something that was done by voter approval.
Correct.
I'd like, if we do an ordinance like that, I think it'd be proper to put it to the ballot and let the resident voters of the city of Sturgis speak and let it be in their hands,
Agreed.
just like the chickens.
Commissioner Smith?
Okay, well, first, I'd like to apologize. I kinda made a couple of smart aleck comments about learning something new on, having to learn a new website. I went on that is actually great. I like that, that was easy. Second, tomorrow is Rainbow Bridge Day, so it's a good day to remember your fallen pets. And that's all I got today.
All right, well, I, been on the commission since, April of '22, and it's nice to see folks come in and give input, and, it's great to hear that. I love the, interaction that we had as a commission. I know we don't agree, but it's okay to hear each other out, and wish more community members would continue to come and chime in their opinions, because it makes for good dialogue. And with that, I hope all of you have a great work week.
We got
Great work week.
You only hit the gavel. You didn't adjourn.
the arrow
Now
went off,
now we're moving on to the closed session, and we need a roll call for that.
I need a motion to go into closed session for the purpose.
I move we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing union negotiations.
Is there a motion?
Support.
Support, all in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yep.
Commissioner Boring,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Harrington, Commissioner Abs,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burr, Mayor Perez.
Yes.
Okay, we're in closed session.
Now, Andrew, Ken, do you stop the recorder?